Okay, 1 second. I'll make a call to her. Yeah. Hello everyone. Host is going to start the recording, so we will begin the meeting within 1 minute. Yes, the recording have already started. I request Denul ask me to please welcome Manvi ji and hand over the session to Manvi ji. Yes, Denul, please.
Okay.
Denul, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
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 Not children, I am asking my participants. Denul, ask me, can you hear me? Hello,
Yes.
Denul?
Yes, we can hear.
Yes.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, please welcome everyone and hand over the session to Manvi Dhawanji, and after that you can talk to the student. Yes, please. Denul.
Sir, I think welcome address will be messaged by Haripriya. Could you call her?
But she is not available right now. She is not available. She is facing some network issue.
I have prepared for the message, but unfortunately I didn't prepare for the welcome speech. Anyway, on behalf of IDYM Foundation, I welcome you all to this wonderful session on the mesmerizing place Greece with you all. I warmly welcome our director, Engineer Manvi Dhawan ma'am from IIT Bombay. Kindly take on charge, ma'am. Manvi ma'am.
Manvi ji, yes, Manvi ji, please.
Yes, I can hear. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, Manvi ji, aap audible ho. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Denul. And thanks a lot, all the students from the Greece who have this workshop. It's a great pleasure to see you all joining this workshop. It shows how much interested, how much enthusiastic you all to know about space, to learn new things in your life. That clearly shows your enthusiasm. And I'm very happy to be in connection with you through IDYM workshop. So today, kids, we are going to definitely talk about space, my journey, how I came into the space thing. But before that, I have few questions to you. Okay, you can reply your answers in the chat. Don't
Okay.
I can see your answers there. So my first question is to you is that have you ever dreamed to roam around the whole world? You can reply in the chat. Have you ever dreamed that I will roam around the whole world one day? I will visit each and every city in the world.
We write to everyone.
You can reply yes, no in the chat box. I can see. Yeah, I can see yes. There are so many yeses. Great, great. Okay, my second question, kids, to you is, have you ever dreamed that one day you want to touch the sky or you want to go above the sky and watch your city, Greece, entire world from well above? Have you ever dreamt such things? Great, great. Absolutely, yes. Nice, nice. Great, great, kids. I can see your enthusiasm in your answers. Great. So, kids, now I can tell you that I also had such dreams when I was kid like you. I was studying in the school. And through the Pratham project, you must have heard about Pratham word so many times. Pratham is the satellite that I and my team made few years back. And I can say that that satellite is roaming around the whole world at 90 minutes. It's in every 90 minutes. 90 minutes means 1.5 hours. That satellite is taking a full round of Earth. Okay. And it's not even touched the sky. It has gone beyond the sky. It is way beyond the sky in the space. So that is how I fulfilled my dream. I can say that. And along with not only my dream, the hundreds of students who worked on that satellite, on that satellite, their dream also got fulfilled. So yeah, that's the crux. That's the I can say the essence of my journey and how and why I started working on this aerospace and satellite thing. So now I'll just present some few pictures to you, and we'll kind of make it engaging. I can see all the questions in the chat box. If you have any questions in between also, just write in the chat box. Don't unmute yourself. We will answer all the questions at the end. Yeah. Can I share my screen?
Yes, Manvi, please share your screen, please. Yes, children. So Manvi Dhawan is going to explain to all of you how she was able to build a satellite which has given a message to the world. A student can build their satellite. He's a great scientist in front of you. You post your question in the chat box. Don't unmute yourself and listen to her carefully. Your life will completely change after another 1 hour. Yes, Manvi.
Thank you, Raviji. So, first of all, what is IDYM? I will just brief you in a very small introduction. This, in Igniting Dreams of Young Minds, this foundation we have started with just one thought, that we know that you have access to internet, you have these days you must be having your mobile phones, your laptops, computers with you, and you can learn so many things on the internet. You can even learn how to make a satellite on the internet to some extent. But because a person or a kid like you should start learning those things, the most important question that you need to know is why you should make it, first of all. So to solve that answer, to give you that motivation that you can also do it, it's just not a matter for big scientists having gray hairs. The kids can also make such things. That is why we started this foundation, and we have been conducting so many workshops across the world. In India, we have completed more than hundreds of workshops, and also across the globe, we have been into different countries. So, and now we are in Greece with you. So it's really a privilege working with IDYM workshop, IDYM Foundation. Yeah. So just a minute, yeah. So kids, yeah, so you guys will be definitely knowing why people make satellites, right? Anyone of you can answer what are satellites and how useful are these things for human beings? Can anybody answer in the chat box? Why scientists make satellites? What are their uses? Or you can reply anything about satellite, whatever you know. What is a satellite?
One message has come to explore the outer space. One other message is to observe the planets. 2 messages I have received from students.
Great. It's a great thing that such small kids like you also read about these things. So yes, it's very well said. Satellites are not only used to explore outer space, it also helps us to study our own Earth, the planet on which we live. So scientists have been trying so hard to explore different areas on our planet, which can be made more inhabitable, right? More habitable, and we can find more minerals, more forest cover. We can generate new elements on Earth. So that's why the satellites had been sent. Apart from this, satellites are also very important. Like right now we are talking to each other, right? And this is because of internet. And this internet is given to us through satellites, through the bundle of satellites. So we are connected to each other. We talk on mobile phones. We see lots of information on internet. That is all possible because of satellites. So satellites are indeed very important. It's a very important invention by our scientists. Not only that, once Albert Einstein, the great scientist, told that the problems that are created by humans on Earth, they cannot be solved when your mind is so involved in the problems. I will just describe this statement. This is a very complicated one, but I will describe you in a very simple form. Imagine you are stuck in a very dense forest. You are lost there and you can't see where you should go. You should go east, you should go north or west, where you will find the road, right? And you can't see anything. But a friend of yours who knows how to how to fly a helicopter. So he is on the helicopter and roaming around the jungle, and he can spot you, and he can tell you that, hey buddy, you should go towards north and you will find the road faster, right? So what it means that sometimes humans are so involved in their problems that they have only created. So it's very important that something should help them from very above, who can see the entire picture, and then it will be very helpful to solve it. So satellites are those mediums, those things which continuously see Earth from well above and can see all the problems, all the good things about our planet, and keep telling us all the information. So that's what satellite do for us. That is why we call the satellite our buddy, that friend which keeps on helping us. Coming to the next thing which I want to share about it, that's why we call a space a drawing book. So it's not just satellite. You must have heard that people have sent telescope, people have made, scientists have made space stations in the space. So you can do enormous amount of things when you go into space. So you must have heard about some group of students like you who have discovered new stars, which scientists couldn't do that. And so the opportunities are enormous. So it's like an open blank drawing book and you can explore anything. So that's why space is a drawing book for me, and I can keep on working and definitely it's for you as well. So I've already asked you these two questions and I know that you all are so enthusiastic about it. And this is the picture of Pratham, which actually took all the dreams of the kids who were working with me on Pratham satellite. And it's still in space, revolving around Earth at 90 minutes per 90 minutes speed. And it's in any every day it comes twice over where I'm sitting. I'm right now in near Bombay in India, and in every day I get to see my satellite twice. So it's a great feeling that even when I get old, I will be able to tell my grandchildren to see that I've made something and it's still up there. It's something which will stay forever. So it's a great feeling, and that's why we call a Pratham a journey of dreams. So now, since we are doing a satellite workshop, so it's my responsibility that I should share some very useful information with you. So how a satellite is made, how it works. So kids, like you can see, there is a golden color box in front of you. So this box is the small 30 centimeter small cube. It's just the size of your laptop, your desktop, and it has all equal size. You can see three antennas, three lines, silver color lines. These are called antennas. Like we are speaking to each other, we have ears, we have mouths to communicate. In the same way, satellites have antennas. They need to speak to scientists on the Earth that, hey, I'm working as per you designed me. And if satellite is sent in the space to, let's say, watch ocean, so it will keep on sending images of the oceans to the scientists on the Earth through these antennas. So antennas are for communication of the satellite. You can see that golden color layer on the satellite. It's like mask. So we wear masks these days to protect ourselves from coronavirus pollution, right? In the same way, satellite wear mask to protect itself and its equipment, its parts inside the satellite from various harmful radiations from the sun. So sun not only gives good sunlight, it also gives some harmful radiation, which are actually very dangerous for the parts of the satellite. So that golden color mask is there. And similarly, satellite also has ears. I have already told you, satellite also have eyes. So like I'm talking to you, it's very important that I look at you. It shouldn't be like that I'm looking here and I'm talking to you. It won't make sense. So in the same way, satellite need small sensors, sensor like eyes, which continuously sees towards Earth and communicate. So that's a broader picture of satellite. And definitely you can see the solar panel. Solar panel is the black color plate that you can see on each side of the satellite. We had solar panels because satellite also needs energy up there. We cannot have a power cord from Earth to satellite, right? It needs to get energy from somewhere. So sun energy is given to satellite using solar panel. So that's a satellite in a nutshell. So every satellite, it's very similar to what I just explained to you. The solar panels can be bigger, sensors can be different, they can be having bigger antennas, smaller antennas, made of some different material. The wires could be different, everything could be just the way they are doing, it's different. But these are the four main sense organs that has to be there for any satellite. So kids, you find it easy, right? It's not difficult. The satellite making, the aerospace science is not that difficult to understand. Whatever you are studying at your home, uh, it is going to be the same, right? And whatever you study in your schools, you are going to apply your same knowledge, same principle later in when you grow elder in your college, in your schools, you are going to use the same thing. So satellite making is not difficult, but what makes it difficult the is the professionalism, the kind of quality you need to maintain when you are making such aerospace level things. Why I'm saying that is, just imagine a scene like you are having a chair or a laptop in front of you, a mobile in front of you. If something goes wrong in your mobile phone today, you can call the person that, hey, my mobile phone is not working, my laptop is not working. You can call that company serviceman and he will come and fix it, right? Or you can take your mobile phone or laptop to to the company and get it repaired. But it cannot happen in case of satellites, right? You cannot send an astronaut just to repair a satellite. It's very, very costly and it's very dangerous also, because value of a human life is more than a satellite. We can't lose our astronaut in space just to repair something. I'm not saying that satellites are not valuable, but as compared to human life, we have to give value to human life. So that's why whatever you make in your satellite, whatever things you put inside your satellite, it has to be 100% working, 100% professionally working. Otherwise, your entire project will be a failure. That's why we call this aerospace, this satellite making is a rocket science. It's not the knowledge that makes it difficult, but the kind of quality, the kind of surety you should have before launching, that makes it difficult. And that's why we call this that space doesn't give you second chance. So you can launch your one satellite. It can get a success, it can get fail, but you cannot correct that very satellite which has already been launched. You cannot correct that once it is launched. You have to launch a new one. So you can commit your own mistakes. It's not that you cannot be given new chance to commit your mistake, but the problem is you cannot rectify the same satellite once it is launched. So now coming to our journey, why it has been, so what our Pratham satellite is doing up in space. So like in every project, you also have a vision or mission. So vision, mission, what do you mean by that? Mission is like, for example, you are studying for a quiz or a small test tomorrow in your school. You are studying for that. That's a mission, that you want to get good marks in that particular test. But the vision of your life is something like, I want to become a doctor. I want to become an aerospace engineer. I want to become a scientist who can launch multiple satellites. So that could be the mission. That could be the vision, sorry. So mission are generally smaller goals, and such small missions contribute towards a larger vision. Similarly, for Pratham, we had the mission of measuring the ions of the atmosphere. You will understand these things when you get elder. You will get to know these things. What are ions? Why are so important? So one thing definitely I can tell you here is it's very important to calculate those ions, because whenever there is an earthquake, whenever there is a tsunami somewhere on the earth, those ions get disturbed. And when you keep on regularly uh, measuring them or knowing them, so you can know that, oh, there could be an earthquake, there could be a tsunami. So it's very helpful in a way that you can predict them, and we can save so many human lives. So that was the mission and vision of our satellite was, of the entire Pratham team is whatever we learned in the entire 8 years of project, we should not limit our knowledge to just ourselves. We should share our knowledge, share our learning, share our mistakes to all the people across world. And that's why I am here with you. So yeah, sorry.
Can I ask you something about the satellite? What if a satellite is destroyed by something from the outer space? How can we make it? According to the nature of the problem. To the nature of the problem.
Sorry, because of network, I'm not able to hear your entire question. Can you type your question in the chat box? That would be good. I would be able to read it.
Sir, can you type the question, because Manviji is not able to understand because we are connected with internet. If you can type the question, it will be great. And she will definitely answer your question, sir.
Yes, yes. Please type the
Please type the question, sir. She will answer every question will be asked by the student. She will give every answer. Whatever you will ask, she will answer to all of you. Please type the question. Yeah.
Yeah. So meanwhile, I'll continue. Whenever I get the question, I will definitely answer that. So second most important, so there are kids, there are two very important things in your life whenever you work on any such big project. First, I already told you that you have to be hardworking. You have to be having a consistent effort, maintain the quality. You have to be 100% sure. There are so many things in work. But the second very, very important thing that I wanted to share you is that teamwork. Teamwork is very important when you work in such a big project. I can tell you, we were working for 8 long years. We were hundreds of students, and my seniors always used to tell me that, Manvi, if this satellite fails, it's not because of the technology, it's not because that we are lacking some knowledge. It will fail because your team, your people failed. Just imagine that I was working on the satellite. And one day, suddenly, as a team leader, I decide that no, I don't want to work anymore. It's too hectic for me. I'm struggling a lot with my academics. I'm not getting good. So I am quitting. The day I decide, the entire team collapse, right? So in such big projects, it always happens that the moral of the team should always be on that level, because there will be so many difficulties coming in your way. But if you're motivated to do such great things, nothing will stop you. And that's what happened. And finally, we launched the satellite. This was the person, Saptarishi Bandopadhyay, that you see on your screen, who founded this project in 2008. And after that, there were 7 project managers over the period of time. You can see me in the yellow dress, who was second last project manager of the Pratham team. And finally, the satellite took off. So Yeah, now I can show you a small video of Pratham satellite launching. Just a minute.
Dear children, wait a moment. She is going to share a video of a satellite Pratham, which was launched in 2016 from ISRO. So every one of you watch this carefully. All satellites are kept in the nose part of the rocket. Rocket have got many stages. Manviji will explain to all of you how it is kept and how it is getting launched. So after she will play the video, you will understand that how Pratham was got launched. What satellite she has made for India and give the message to the world, yes, a student can build a satellite. So this is what she has done.
Yes.
Now Manviji, are you facing any problem or should I play?
Sir, can you I can see the Pratham video. I can find that. You can, after the Pratham video, you can just play that rocket animation also. That would be helpful for children.
Okay, Manviji, I will play from here.
Yeah. So right now I'm playing Pratham video.
Okay, Pratham is playing.
My screen is visible?
हाँ Manviji, yes.
So here I just want to pause and just want to tell you. So these lines, green color lines that you see on the map of world, these are the path. This is the path of Pratham satellite. So you can see that there was a line which just going to pass over India. So now we will hear from Pratham satellite when it passes over India, and we will confirm that now Pratham is launched in the orbit. It is going to revolve around Earth. So till this time, till this moment, Pratham satellite sits on the top of the rocket. It is attached to the rocket. And at this very moment, it separates from the rocket and it is there in the orbit. Yeah. Yes, so now Pratham is separated. That's what the scientist just
Manviji,
told. Yeah.
You want me to play? Or
yes.
Play that? So I hope my screen is visual to all of you. मानवी जी सब दिख रहा है ना अच्छे से स्क्रीन? हेलो मानवी जी.
India's PSLV C2 rocket is standing majestically on the launch pad at the Sriharikota range, ready to be launched. First stage and the 4 grounded strap-on boosters are ignited. PSLV is getting lifted off and clears the launch pad. Two air-lit strap-on boosters are ignited. 4 grounded strap-on boosters are burnt out and are separated. 2 air-lit strap-on boosters are separated.
Yeah, now the first stage is ignited.
First stage is burnt out and separated.
And now it is separated.
Second stage is ignited.
Now second will...
Payload fairings are separated.
Yeah, so you can see the satellite sitting
Second
there on the top, right?
Is now burnt out and separated. Third stage is ignited. Third stage is burnt out and is separated. Fourth stage is ignited. Fourth stage is burnt out and the main satellite is separated. 3 microsatellites are separated.
Yes, Raviji, you can stop now. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so kids, what you just saw is just an animation which was prepared by our kids of IDYM Foundation. So it shows that how a rocket takes off from the ground. Every stage has an opportunity to take the entire rocket from ground to more than 500, 600 kilometer height above the earth, and then all the satellites are launched in the space. So it's a very big project. It's a huge money of the government, of the people of India, definitely for every country who are launching their own satellites and rockets. It's very big thing for them. That's why it has to be made in stages, in different stage. First stage plays its role, then second, then third, and then final fourth stage. Yeah. So that's all from my side, Raviji. And
yes, Manviji, dear student, if you have some question, Manviji, with all of you, you can ask the question in the chat box. Every one of you, can you hear me? Dear children, please don't unmute your mic. You just type the question in the chat box.
Hello, I'm Miss Vasilako Evangelia. Thank you very much for accepting us in your platform. I would like to say that many students have written in the chat box, but still they haven't got any responses. So you can
yes, okay. We are checking now.
Okay, thank
the
you.
rocket is so big, only a small part of it reaches space. Then why it is so big?
Of course, and the answers have to be restricted and the questions restricted so that we can benefit from you and show us more things and more videos. So let's
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a minute. Yes, मानवी जी, एक बच्चे ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है कि रॉकेट जो है बहुत बड़ा क्यों होता है, ये सैटेलाइट बहुत छोटा होता है.
Hello, Ravi ji.
हाँ मानवी जी बोलिए.
Yes, can you repeat the question? Sorry, I couldn't hear.
वो बोल रहे हैं बच्चा ने कि रॉकेट जो है इतना बड़ा होता है और सैटेलाइट बहुत छोटा होता है, तो रॉकेट को इतना बड़ा क्यों रखा है?
That's a very interesting question. That rocket is so big and only a small satellite is going on that rocket. So why it is so big? So the thing is, kids, you must have So the thing is, whenever you want to send something just above you, just imagine a small ball. If you want to throw a ball, you need a huge amount of push from your hand, right? You take your hand from very ground and then you throw the ball. So, and as hard as you can throw, the ball will go as high as possible. So if you want to send something which is so high, so well above the earth, the satellites are generally sent in the space, and they are in the orbits of 600, 900 kilometers. In 900 kilometers means it would be somewhere like the entire continent of India, and you just need to stretch it like this in the height ways. So if you want to send something to such a great height, and you are working against the gravity, against the pull of the earth, then that take a huge amount of energy, huge amount of rocket fuel is there sitting inside the rocket, and that's why these rockets are so big. So not only fuel, since you are sending a rocket fuel, so it needs to be properly secured. You cannot send a rocket fuel tank like this, right? Otherwise it will burn everything. So it has to be properly secured. You must have seen in your cars, right? You don't know where is a fuel tank generally because it's so properly sealed, everything. So that's how the rockets are made. There is so much machinery, so many computers are there inside the rocket because it has to go by its own. You are not going, driver inside it, right? So there is so many things that there, not only a small satellite, but the supporting machines and computer inside it. That's why those rockets are so big. And more to it, you will learn when you get definitely elder. You can find all those questions on the NASA ISRO website also. But I feel this question was from a very young kid. That's why I answered in a very suitable way, which I think you would be able to relate.
अब एक क्वेश्चन है मानवी जी की, जो पार्ट्स होते हैं ना, वो पार्ट्स कहाँ जाते हैं? अगर एक सैटेलाइट को रॉकेट को लॉन्च करे तो पार्ट्स कहाँ पर जाते हैं?
I think he means by the rocket parts, the rocket stages, yes, which
rocket
are
parts,
getting
rocket
separated,
parts,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the kids, like you saw, there were 4 stages of rockets. The first stage got separated, then second stage ignited. So these first stage generally falls. So from when we launch from India, that first India has a very big ocean